I said, I'm going to start booking interviews and I'm not going to tell you who we're meeting with. So you just get to jump right into the conversation and never know who. So before you're coming on, he's like, who are we meeting with? Who? I'm like, I'm not telling you. But she is the amazing publisher of all of my books
Ah,
and
okay.
Adriana's books
There
and the
we
books
go.
that I have been in. Look at this, Lil. We've done a lot of work together.
My God, we have.
Welcome to the Life by Design podcast. I'm your host, Kim Ward, a certified master life and business coach, NLP practitioner, and your guide to building a life and business that you absolutely love. Lil is the owner and operator of GWN Publishing and the Ghostwriters Network. When you popped GWN into Amazon, how many endless books has your company been responsible for?
I want to say there's at least 4 or 5 pages of books, so that's a good start. And I don't
Wow.
think they're all there because, well, first off, we have some people that publish under their own publishing name. We're doing we're working with a group called Law of the Land Publishing. There's going to be 35 of those books. The first one, funny story. The first one came out. You'll appreciate this story, Kim, because of the debacle of do we get first, bestseller thing. So we released Jamaica because they're each. It's all about law and what do you do when you have a medical emergency? What do you do when you want to something goes wrong and you're in a different country, right? So Jamaica's first. Okay. So we released Jamaica on Monday in the morning. They had 2,000 people sign up on their CRM. I'm thinking we're golden. Monday night, nothing. Tuesday, nothing. Tuesday night, nothing. Wednesday morning, nothing. But no ranking at all, which was suspicious. It wasn't like we ranked 4,567. Nothing. Zippo. And I'm freaking out, right? The poor woman who's in charge of this, and it says Law of the Land Publishing, not us. Although we've done all the formatting and all, that's it. I know. What are we gonna do? We're on the Christina and I are on every forum. What's going on? What's happening? Why is that? Why is it happening? Midnight, Wednesday night. I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna check one last time. She had to see the client in the morning and tell him we don't know. It had the orange band on it, bestseller in its category, number one, number two in this category. I'm like, what the F? What happened? So, and it gets better. The one we haven't released yet. Well, this is not for public consumption, but another one we haven't released yet that we're going to do release for also hit number one. People were just buying it randomly. So it's going well. But we were sweat. I never remember we've waited till like the next day or something, but we've never waited 3 days. Like what
That's a
the
long
hell?
time.
It was a nail biter, but it came out great. Actual organic, number one in their category kind of thing. So
I get it. I'm like, when we were going for, I mean, we've got Life by Design number one, we got the best selling number one. Then we did it again with number two. And then number three, while I was waiting for that to populate, I am blowing steam through Lil's message. I'm like, hello, hello, what are the updates? She's like, they've kind of changed some things. But the weird thing was when you did Adriana's book, we weren't looking to go bestseller. I literally just sent an email out to my list and I said, how fun would it be if by the time she got home, The Time Traveler's Adventure was number one? And so Rich and Adriana walked through the door at like 3 o'clock and I said, let's just check. And I popped into Amazon that day and boom, she was number one in the time travel category. I was like, what in the world? That was an accident.
well, and it's true. I mean, like, first of all, it's amazing that she wrote a book at her age. And you have that, and it's got a great cover. I think you did great with that. We didn't do the cover. You pretty much did it. You just gave us something to play with. Sometimes it's the attraction of it, it's the idea of it. People love time traveling. I mean, how many times did I watch Quantum Leap?
Right?
Even the new one, I tried to watch it for a while.
Yeah.
It wasn't as good, but it's amazing. And I think sometimes you're in the right category. It could be anything. In this case, it was travel and law, kind of big categories. A lot of people in
Yeah.
a lot of fiction, but we were nonfiction. But we were just yeah, it really depends. Yeah, and it isn't that important. It's great for your daughter. She's a kid.
Yeah.
She's young. Yeah, it feels really good. But and for business books, people like it. But we all know it's not as important as some of the consumers. They look at that and go, "Wow, it's an Amazon bestseller." Yeah, they really want. So this guy, he's buying 75 copies from our printer. We could do it overnight practically. If our printer will rush and do things. And he's taking 75 copies to his high school reunion with the Amazon badge on it. Like, look at me, which is cool.
Bragging rights.
That's going to be actually an interesting project because it's going to be a travel website. It's going to be a website. It's going to be a membership site. where people can join monthly, or travel agents can join, and there'll be lots and tons of information about everything you can think of. And we're doing 35 countries at this point. So
Wow.
we're on country number 10 or 12 so far
Wow.
that are already done. Now they're just going to release in real time.
She's not afraid to tackle this stuff.
No, but my name, that won't come up when you put GWN. Publishing.
Aw.
So yeah, bummer. But that's okay. It's cool. You know, we know that like they say, did I get paid? Yes. People always said to me, "Don't you feel bad when you ghostwrite a book and your name's not there as the writer?" And I said, "Not when I go to the bank.
Right.
Not as I'm cashing the check. No, not so much."
That's awesome.
No ego, man. Can't have an ego in this business.
Well, Adriana handed her second book off to Rich and I for editing, so you'll be working on that one soon enough. But I want to dig into some really juicy things that we haven't talked about, because there's so many people, like even when I talk to Rich and we talk about like stories of my past and things, when people say you should write a book, okay, there's a lot behind that. So what would you say to someone who wants to write a book? Because there's so many ways they could tackle this, right? So what would you say to them?
Yeah, and we handle all those ways. So the thing is that there are people who have more money than they have time or ability, or think they have ability. They pay me to ghostwrite a book. I'm going to interview them, sit down with them. I'm going to figure out the outline. I'm going to go do the research. They don't have time to research. I wrote a functional medicine book. I knew nothing about that. And she met me like 5 whole times, if she met me that many times. And just, we did some talking, and we put together, she told me what to go research and what the topics were. Mostly, usually it's more like me interviewing people. That's if you have, $20,000, $30,000 to spend. Not if, and I'm cheap compared to most ghostwriters start at 50. But most people need coaching. They need accountability. That I do. I have like 10, 12, 15 people at almost any given time that I'm working with, who I meet once every other week usually, and I get them to write that outline, and I make sure they're writing, and they feel bad when they don't have something right. You know what I mean, Rich? Like it's not done, right? So Lil's gonna be mad. No, Lil's gonna be mad. So they get that accountability and that reading what they've written and kind of checking up on it and commenting and doing some cleanup, and then they go ahead and do the next couple chapters, and we meet every couple of weeks. And most people within 2, 3, at the most 4 months have written their book, and we're into publishing it. And they publish with us because you're not going to get traditional publishing with these kinds of books. You have to have a humongous following. And even when you do, they don't sell a lot of books, believe it or not. The sad statistic is something like 19 out of 20 books traditionally published by the big 4 or 5 publishing companies never sell any more than a person who does it on their own. And if they sell 300 books, it's a big deal. They're gamblers. They might as well be at this on a riverboat. I mean, they're hoping that 20th guy can sell the million copies, and that's what keeps them floating. And they'll give it a shot if they think your book is good enough. But they don't sell very much. And they take minimally 70% of your royalties. And then, that's the minimal. Usually it's going to be not. Even somebody like Barack Obama, or Trump. Well, Trump doesn't write books, but anymore. But when he wrote books, but any of those guys, like, they don't get any much more than anybody else. It's just that they know they're going to sell millions of copies. 20%, 30% of a million copies of books is pretty good money. They're not worried, right? That's what most people need. They need coaching, accountability. Some people can write on their own. They just need maybe a very small boost. They maybe need to meet me 3 or 4 times and just kind of get them organized, get them going. And then if they want us to publish, we'll publish it for them. We're publishing services, which means we don't take royalties. We don't take any of that. We have you set up. We set up your accounts. We do get your ISBN. We get you all set up, and you have a publisher's, value behind you, but you don't have to pay me a bunch of money or not be able to buy your own books at author discount without coming to someone to say, "Can I buy some more books?" And even hybrid publishers upgrade that. So if it's the book costs $5 or $6, the hybrid publisher is going to take 40% of your royalties or so, and they're going to hold on to the book. You never see what you made anyway. And then from there, they want you to pay them $2 or $3 on every book you buy. You remember the Santa guy? Oh boy, he got robbed. That poor guy, right? So that's what happens to people. They don't know what to do. So you have to come to people who have integrity and figure out what you want to write. But I think the biggest thing I always talk about is writing the right book. I teach on that a lot. What are you going to write about? Who's going to read it? Who's going to benefit from it? If there's no one benefiting, or there's no reason for them to listen to you, you have no plan for the book at the end of the day. Like, I'm just going to sell millions on Amazon. Don't do it. Go do something else. Write blogs. Write do lives on Facebook. It's really, I have a whole process I go.
I love that. And I love working with you because you do make the publishing process very easy. I mean, I think I've done 7 books total, whether I'm the producer or whether I'm the co-author or whether it's our daughter. When Adriana handed the book to us, and I even attempted to look at KDP and like the formatting, and then I'm like, Lil, I don't want to touch this. Just give me a number. I don't care what it is. Publish her book.
And
So
people, Kim is a genius, so she can't do it.
I don't.
Trust me, you're probably screwed.
I didn't even want to attempt it. I was like, here, and the next one, and she's already planning book 3. So we're going to keep you busy for a little while. But
And so, wait, I want you to tell her something.
yeah,
Do book 3, because illustrated books, children's books, it's not 3 is the magic number. Once you get to 3, you start to have some traction. The first one, then people buy. The second, oh, maybe she's from something. Book 3, they're starting to look at you like a real thing. Yeah.
well, babe, you
And then we'll
remember,
bulk them. We'll make a series for her.
yeah.
Put it together. Yeah.
After this book came out, she got interviewed on the local radio station.
Yep.
She got hit up by different podcasts, and the teachers and the school board, everybody, weren't they asking her before this thing was in her hands?
Yeah.
They had read the digital copy, and they were like, when is book 2 coming out? That was
Right.
such a great story. When's book 2? So I'm like, dang, they were already looking for book 2. And I was like, she's onto something. She's got a cute little story here that people want to consume. We talk about that, you and I, even like at the end of the night, decompressing with
Mhm.
mindless entertainment, whether it's TV or people who scroll on their reels or YouTube shorts or stuff like that. They're just looking to get out of the stress of their day. And I think a book is a great way to do that.
And I think she really enjoys writing those books, and she's not getting any coaching from us. It's I make sure, at least for me, I make sure that I don't push her or try to steer her into a different direction or a direction. And she just loves doing it. That's what I think is great about everything.
So anyway, you were asking me about us. I was saying about the 3 books. Yeah, we'll link the books together, make a series for her, and then
That's
she
awesome.
starts to look like a big deal. And we gotta say she's 8, 8, 9, whatever. She's 10 years old. She's
Yeah.
very young. What is she, 10?
She's 10. She just turned 10 in February. And I was saying, like, before the physical book was in our hands, people were already asking us, when's book 2 coming out? They were so enthralled in the story that they're like, let's go. So it's really cool, that I just love that we can work together. But you did kind of burst our bubble a moment ago. You're like, look, if you're looking to make millions of dollars, don't do it. Go blog, go do a Facebook Live. So, what is the purpose of writing a book?
Well, like I said, I always ask those 3 questions. Who's going to benefit from the book? That's the first question I ask anyone. And if you know that people are going to benefit and that matters to you, if one person reads the book and it changes their life, it's good enough, right? That's part one. And if you don't think anyone's going to benefit or there's no value in it, I'm sure you're going to think there's some value, but you need to know what that value is. Who's the audience? Who's going to read it, right? Why should they listen to you? Is question number 2. Well, only we had a 10-year-old kid writing books on time travel, so I'm just going to listen to that. And just be an amazement alone. Well, she's 10. Like, it's crazy. I think that's important to know that you have a value, that you personally have something to say and for a reason. Doesn't mean you have lots of letters behind your name, but you've been through something, you've learned something, you've experienced something you're going to share. And then question number 3 comes, and this is the big one. That's going to answer what you just asked me. What's the book going to do for you as a person, as a writer? And that's, to me, the most important question before I start working, because I'm not going to work with somebody who says, I'm going to sell this book and become a millionaire unless I have accidentally tripped over the next Harry Potter. The thing is, you have to answer that question honestly. And if the answer is, I'm going to be rich, it's going to be great. No, probably not. I mean, it happens. And if it's a great book, people find it. I have a great story about Confederacy of Dunces, Pulitzer Prize winning book. Do you know he died before he got the Pulitzer?
Wow.
He got it posthumously. His mom took that book to every publisher after he died and said, "Why did none of you listen to him? This book is brilliant." He killed himself because none of you would publish the book. And it won a Pulitzer. It's very unique. Confederacy of Dunces, look it up. And it won posthumously. Oh, it's the Pulitzer Prize. It happens, but it doesn't happen often. So the answer has to be what I'm going to do with it. Now, 90% of our clients, maybe even more than 90%, know what they're going to do with it. They're going to go out and speak. They're going to go out and sell their book at the back of the room. They're going to give their book away as a swag bag item to get attention when there's 100 people sitting in the audience, and it's worth them paying $5, $6, $7 for a book that they've done. It's worth them 1,000 even to put books in 100 bags, because at the back of the book it says, "Come work with me, come meet with me, be in my course, take my course, come have me be your coach." Right? That's a lot of our clients. If it's a memoir, hopefully it means that you're going to go out and change lives. You're going to go out and talk to women's groups, so teen groups, young girls about not getting into drugs, young boys about not going to prisons. What are you going to do with the book, right? So that's the real thing, is you need to know that before you even put your fingers on the keyboard. Don't even know all those things, and that's what I start with. When you talk to me, you get a Calendly thing with me, people randomly do, they're going to spend a half hour, 45 minutes with me getting that information out of them. What are we doing, and why are we doing it? No matter what it is you do in life, why are we doing what we're doing? Why do we choose a career? Why do we buy that car, this house, right? We need to know what we're doing. And it's no different with a book.
I love that.
Have you ever turned down anyone?
I'm sorry. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. And some people look at me and go, "Yeah, you're right. I'm not there." Or I'll send them back to the drawing board. One of my favorite stories is a woman who wrote a book called, let me think of it, it'll come to me. The Madison, Wisconsin drag queens saved my life. I think it's something like that. Because it's a book about, I can't remember the exact title, but she had cancer. Her husband dumped her. She was miserable, and she went to a theater company to find something to do. And it was in this cool old barn. And one of the dancers was a guy who also did a drag show in Madison. And he loved her so much, he invited her to be a backup dancer.
Oh my gosh.
The gay clubs. And she was like, "No, let's do that. My husband left me. I'm gonna die. I don't give a shit," right? So, she went and she danced. She went and danced with him, and it got to be a whole thing. Well, when she went to give me the book, it was 18,000 words, 19 to 20. It was less than 20. I'm like, tell me when you walked into that theater in a barn, what did it smell like? What were the seats like? How did you feel when you were scared to walk up on that stage after 15 years of never singing or dancing? What was your emotion like, So I sent her back, and she wrote another 15,000 words and made a book out of it. So she wasn't ready. And when she wrote it, it was better, and it was really good. And she sold 1,000 copies out the gate. I mean, within a couple of weeks, because everybody loved her there. She sold it to all the community and people in general. She had a really good fun. But sometimes they say, "You don't have a book. You're not ready. You don't know what you're doing." Most people know what they want. And if I'm the right fit, they'll work with me. If I'm right fit financially or what have you, or no, not everyone loves me, although most people here like me at least. I'm reasonably likable, but I'm encouraging. I want to encourage people, but I don't want people to write books that are going nowhere ever, unless they have a reason to write that book that they either have to get it off their chest. For some people, Rich, it's my favorite story is a woman who probably never published her book, and it's one of the best books I've ever written. Sat with her every Friday for months. I was still kind of new in the game and got a pretty decent amount to write. Not half of what I get now, but and I was living an hour away from her, so I would go. Her parents got wrapped up in the Hare Krishna movement when they were 18 and 19, respectively, and they had 2 daughters, no sons. And the father was very mad; he wanted a son. He looked at her when she was born and went, "Ugh, another daughter," and walked away. By 3, she was in a Gurukula, which is their ridiculous name for a school, laying on the ground with a box at her head. Each kid had a little box with their stuff in, and they would strip them naked and then make them take showers and then throw them into the temple all day long, sit on the stone in the temple and worship these ridiculous things, right? Well, sorry if you're Indian, they're not ridiculous, but the Hare Krishna movement is different from just being Indian. Her father did unbelievably bad things to her. She was raped at 14 by an Indian man. They sent him back to India. They sent her to an ashram to repent. And then they married her to a 24-year-old Italian man who then dumped her a year later and dumped her on a woman who used her for sex to make money. She got gang raped at 16. I can't tell you the things that happened to this woman. It's just unbelievable. She lives in a $1 million home. She's a broker in 3 states. She is on her 3rd marriage to the love of her life. And when she threw a party one Friday, 150 people showed up. Friends. That wasn't even half of them.
That's awesome.
However she did that is beyond me. How she went from this to there is the best story I've ever gotten the opportunity, really blessed to tell. She will never publish it.
She definitely didn't play the victim role.
No. Yeah, we started the book out with something to the effect of the monsters are still under the bed. They're always going to be there. But she said, I front loaded all my shit. I don't have to do anything I don't want to do anymore. If I don't feel like getting out of bed, I don't. Because I already did all the bad stuff. I get to do the good stuff. Travels the world, goes everywhere, takes the other half everywhere. It's like 20 years younger than her. And they just have a blast. But she went through it. But she's a savant. She's a resilience savant. That's what I wanted to call her book.
Okay.
Resilience savant. She had to have been born with it. I think some people are just born with the ability to get through it, keep on, go.
Yes.
So that's the kind of story, like when she's ready someday to maybe publish that, when her dad passes or whatever it might take.
Yeah.
That's a woman who can go out in the world and say, you can do anything. You can go through anything. Because look at what I've got.
Yeah.
So those kind of people may never. I think she just needed to tell a story. There were times I got there at 10 in the morning and didn't leave till 7 at night. She'd make me Indian food, and we hang out. And she's as white as she could. She's freckle-haired, red-headed, Irish-looking kid. It's crazy as shit. She makes the best Indian food I've ever had.
Oh.
She lived in India.
Okay.
So there's people that have something to tell. They have a story to tell. They just want to tell it. Right? But it really matters. You need to know what that book is going to do for you and for the world, and what it does for the world better reflect on you. But that's what you want it to do. You want it to do something for the world. Don't write. Please don't write. Don't come to me. Go somewhere else.
I like that.
So, I mean, if someone's hearing this and they're like, I really feel like I have a book in me and I'd love to speak with you, Lil, where can they go to find you?
Sure. I prefer, in reality, that they just take a time with me on Calendly. Calendly is a wonderful schedule. It's easy. There's a half an hour setup. And I'm the easiest one, I think, to remember. It's my name, Lil, Lil, and then the Ghost, Lil the Ghost. So if you go to calendly.com/Lil the Ghost, you'll find me. My original company is Virtual Creatives. And that's our marketing arm. That's where we do our websites and our graphic design. Ghostwriters Network is books and publishing, et cetera, et cetera. So if they go to Lil at Virtual Creatives, that's creative plural.com, they can find me. My email address. They can email me, send a smoke signal. I don't know. But I think the best thing is to say, hey, I'm interested in that. Just do that and put in the comments, I heard you on Kim, or when I respond or what have you. Pick a time that I'm free and I'll sit and talk to anybody. I sometimes I open up my email in the morning and 5 people have set up time with me. Like, these people are, but they've heard me speak somewhere. I'm maybe too laissez-faire, Kim. I just figure if people want to work with me, they'll find me.
Yeah,
God will send them. God will send them, or he will not, or she or she. One of them will not.
You're just very easy to work with. Your team is very easy to work with. And you know that every single time, your designers have designed the most beautiful, beautiful books and covers for us. Like, I just couldn't be happier. And so I'm grateful to you and your team. And that's why I wanted to have you out. So I've done, I think, 4 or 5 anthologies with you. I've produced 2, and then I was in Tracy Cook's book, Victim Over Victory, and then I was in Stacey Hall's book. So are anthologies still a thing?
They are still a thing. And before we move on, Christina Konatzer is our graphic designer of covers. Love her. Christina Rodriguez, who we call Chris, is our interior designer, and the girls are phenomenal. And sadly, my new proofreader is named Kristen. Someone needs to kill me.
And you stop that? I mean,
thank God for Becky. Becky does web designers. So yeah, anthologies are still a thing. I think they got over flooded a little.
Yeah.
People don't get as much out of them as they want. Even when we do these, we've done, I don't know how many we've done overall. I'm going to say 20 over the years.
I've been in half of them, so
not even half of them. And we have a way to produce them that's very fair to people who want to produce them and make a few dollars doing that and get people together. We have a program that we have all the stuff they need. Everything's it's there in a box. All the contracts, everything's done for them, and we just split the money in a nice revenue share. But if you're going to be in an anthology, don't be in one where you do get at least a couple thousand words in there, and try not to be in one that's more than 20 or 25 people. When you start to get over that, it gets crazy. We've been doing the 10 one. We have Center of Influence is our kind of an arm that we use for some of them. We don't do a lot of them anymore, but there's only 10 people at most in a book, and they write 5, 6, even 7,000 word chapters, which then become a real lead magnet. When they're done, we make a PDF with a book cover and just their name and their chapter title on it that they can then give away on their site, or they can give it away at events as a summit giveaway. Great. great thing to have. We just finished one called Leading with Light Volume 2, and that one is done now. We did Sacred and Connections, Leading with Light Volume 1, and then we had one on women's enterprise. But be careful what if you're going to get into them. Learn what you're getting, what you're not getting, and find somebody who knows how to produce them. We know how to produce them. Do I like producing them all the time? Honestly, no.
I can answer that.
Well, it's difficult. You got 10, 15, 20 people sending you chapters, and some of them can write and some of them can't, and some of them bold everything. And they have to unbold everything, and it's just crazy. So I usually read every chapter and then send them to Kristen to go ahead and make sure, because I suck at proofreading. So it's a process, and you have to, you have to be careful that you're in the right ones and for the right.
And I know you've ghostwritten for quite a few of our authors in the anthologies that we produce too. So that's cool that you have that service, because if someone wants to hop on a Zoom and kind of spill their guts, you can pretty it up and give them the framework. So I love that.
Yeah, there's people who don't want to even write their own chapter. We write the chapter for them. It's obviously a lot less than writing a book for them. But
For
we
sure.
Yeah, for sure.
So, babe, you got surprised today with our publisher, who's
It's
been
very
with us
cool.
for like a million years. Doesn't she look good for her age?
Yeah, I'm 100. So
That's awesome. So any questions for Lil that you can think of, babe?
No, I just like the fact that, she's not out there just to grab the money. And, when the outcome is whatever, it sounds like she really puts a lot of effort into making sure that, again, the people are ready for it and you make it happen. And that's commendable, especially in nowadays in this world where it's always give me your money and I don't care the outcome. I think it's respectable, and it's pretty cool that you do what you do and how you do it.
Love it.
thank you. And it does matter. We are I will say, on the cheap side when it comes to publishing services comparatively. I met a woman the other day who charges $15,000 to do what we do for roughly 1/5 of that. A little 1/4 at best. But we'll call it 1/4 because she does some proofreading. But she does a lot of marketing. And that's why, However, marketing's tough.
Yeah.
And how much she gets out of it. When I told her, I said, well, we publish about five books a month, sometimes 6. She went, what? So I compare it to the $20 lemonade stand. You know my $20 lemonade stand story? You know that story? Guy walks up to a kid, he's selling lemonade in front of his house. Guy's kind of thirsty, and he says, oh, I'd love a lemonade. How much? How much is it? He goes to reach for his wallet. Kid looks up and he says, $20. $20 for a lemonade? Like, the lemon's made of gold. Like, what's going on? Kid says, yeah, but I only have to sell one. And that's a problem, right? So I think there's a lot of people.
That's true.
who would rather, and sometimes look, maybe it is a gold lemonade and it's worth the $20K, but there's a lot of publishers and hybrid publishers who make us look really bad, who are like well known, who charge $50, $80, $100,000 to market your book and publish your book and do all this stuff. And the results aren't a whole lot better than what we do for $3,500. So that's kind of scary.
Actually, I've seen that. And Lil, I came to you within the last 8 months, maybe a year ago, with someone who was in that situation. They were working with, and I was like, what are you doing? When he told me what he paid and what he was getting. And I'm like, no, man, you need to have a conversation with Lil, because you just got taken. And it was so sad to see.
I've seen so many people get ripped off, and publishing companies that are supposed to be the good guys, I'm not going to say, but you know what I mean? They're the worst. They're impossible. And people they just think, oh, these people would never do that to me. And they're horrible. We used to work for one of those companies back in the day when I was with a different publishing company. And they were publishing, you could just spit onto a page they published. I mean, they didn't care. And they just, as long as they got your money, they could care less. They were churning and burning, making way more money than I do, I'm sure. Like, oh, well.
Yeah. Well,
I sleep at night, though. I sleep really well. So.
That's why you're here. So I'm going to put your Calendly link, your email, maybe your Facebook profile in the show notes, and
LinkedIn. Lil Barcaski on LinkedIn. I'm sure I'm the only one. I'm the only Barcaski left in the world. So it's got to be me.
Yeah.
I am. Last of the one.
And you've always been more than fair to us and to every project that we've ever presented. And we're so grateful for that. And because of that, we've developed such a great relationship. And not only do I come back to you every time we have a project, it's a no-brainer, but I will always recommend my friends and my network to you as well. So thank you for being awesome, Lil. Is there any last words of wisdom that you want to leave us with today?
No, just, do everything for the greater good. We write for the greater good. We publish for the greater good. God's going to provide one way or the other. Just believe that everything will come out all right. And take a breath. If you want to write a book, we'll figure it out. We'll get you where you need to go. I got a great staff, and we'll get you where you.
That's awesome.
Into that, and I'm proof. So, Lil, thank you so much. I appreciate you, and I'm glad you two finally had a chance to meet.
There we go.
Absolutely, finally, it's a good-looking dude. Yeah, it's all right. He's not bad
Been
looking.
like 10 years,
Making good-looking kids. That's why.
Smart too.
All right.
Oh boy, now I'm blushing. Okay.
Bye for now.
Yeah.
See you guys later.
Bye. And hey, before you go, don't forget to subscribe to our podcast. And as always, friends don't let friends grow and develop alone. So share this episode with someone you love and care about. We'll see you in the next episode.